Sometimes the line between a criminal and a savior is drawn not by intention, but by a single, unforeseen discovery. This is a story about the weight of a wallet, the fragility of a second chance, and how a moment of desperation can collide with a lifetime of hope, forcing a young man to choose between running from his past or facing a future he never imagined. Let us know where you are watching from and what time you found this video. The sense of exhaust fumes, laughing that was far away, and cheap perfume were all mixed together in the air at night in the city. It was only the background for yet another evening of manufactured disinterest that Connor, who was 19 years old, spent with his buddies. They were standing about outside a convenience shop, bathed in the sickly white glare of the fluorescent lights, discussing everything and nothing in particular. That was when he caught sight of him. The guy who was walking with a faint, hardly undetectable limp seemed to be in his late 60s and was elderly. His peacoat was plain and old, but it was his manner of conducting himself, a calm dignity and a feeling of purpose that he maintained, even at this late hour, that caused him to seem a ghost from another world, one that Connor had long ago forgotten about. And in the rear pocket of that individual, there was a bulge that was in the form of a wallet, making it easily recognizable. Connor felt a chilly knot of determination constricting inside his gut. Following an unpleasant encounter that occurred a year previously, he had made a solemn vow to never again attack the elderly. The sound of an elderly woman's delicate sobs continued to haunt him even to this day. However, his rent was due, his drug dealer was becoming impatient, and desperation had a tendency to erode one's moral compass to the point of non-existence. Connor avoided making eye contact with his pals as he murmured, "Hey, I gotta go. I completely forgot that I have to take care of something for my mother." They were now engrossed in a fresh discussion, and they hardly gave him a second glance. He blended into the shadows, becoming into a predator who happened to be wearing a hoodie. His heart was beating like a drum against his ribs as he followed the guy for 5 blocks. While the guy was taking a moment to see what time it was by looking at his watch under the light of a street lamp, Connor was able to get a good look at his face. He saw his eyes were kind, there were wrinkles around his mouth from laughing, and he had a mustache that was silver in color. His hesitation lasted for just a fraction of a second. Suddenly, the picture of his landlord's eviction notice flashed in his mind's eye. He moved with great speed. A swift and vicious blow to the base of the man's skull with the heel of his hand. This was a technique that he had learnt throughout the course of a life, that he was attempting to forget. The guy collapsed to the ground without making any noise. Connor's hands, which were now trembling, managed to locate the phone and the wallet. While he was running, he never once turned to look behind him. The guilt he felt was like hot acid rising in his throat, and it pursued him until he arrived at his small, one-room apartment. He was breathing hard when he slammed the door shut. The mobile phone was an older, simple model, and it probably wasn't worth more than $20. He threw it upon the dirty mattress. After that, the wallet, the warmth that emanated from the man's body heat made the brown leather feel nice and pleasant. The leather was flexible and pliable since it had been used for many years. He took the contents of it and poured them out on his wobbly table. The grand total is $37, which is comprised of a small number of notes that have been crumpled. A card that allows access to library services. A young lady with eyes that are bright and full of happiness is captured in a photograph that has been faded with time. The sense of guilt, which had before been hardly audible, suddenly became a deafening roar. This was not just another nameless, faceless outfit. This was a real individual with a past and an existence of their own. His fingertips then made contact with a slender laminated card that was hidden underneath one of the slots for credit cards. It was not a credit card that was being used. It had a red medical cross on it and was of a greater thickness. He took it out. The words "emergency contact" and "medical information, cardiac transplant recipient" were written at the top of the page. Connor felt as if his blood was turning to ice water. With each and every word that he read, it seemed like a hammer was hitting him. The name of this person is Arthur Pendleton. In the event of an emergency, please contact Eleanor Pendleton, who is the wife of the subject. In the event of a medical emergency or unconsciousness, the patient has just had a heart transplant and is now in the recovery process. The administration of critical anti-rejection medication must be carried out with absolute precision every 12 hours. The next dose is scheduled for tonight at 10:45 p.m., located in the pill case that is inside the left pocket of the coat. Immediately get in touch with Dr. Evans by using the phone that is mentioned below. Time is of the utmost importance. It is 10:45 p.m. Connor glanced at the digital clock that was shown on the microwave he owned. It was glowing at 10:52. 7 minutes behind schedule, the Earth began to spin on its axis. The limp that he had seen was not just a limp. The man's stroll had a clear objective. He was most likely heading to his house so that he could take the prescription that was, quite literally, the only thing that was keeping him alive. The guy, who was laying unconscious on the cold, dark street, had the medicine tucked away in the left pocket of his coat, which he was wearing at the time. Connor saw everything with shocking clarity. It was not only a heist, but a murder as well. A murder that was long, excruciating, and committed by his own hands. He had not only taken a wallet, he had also taken the time that this guy needed in order to live. He was being gazed at by Eleanor, who was smiling in the photograph that was looking up at him. As he saw her waiting, he could see the joy on her face gradually disappear as the minutes went by, the phone ringing constantly but going unanswered. Connor made the decision to attempt to rectify the horrific action that he had committed without giving a single thought to the potential ramifications, and with no consideration for his own well-being. He was in a state of fear, which caused his fingers to move clumsily as he grabbed the phone that had been taken. He made a phone call to 911. A calm voice responded, "This is 911. Please tell me what your emergency is. There is a man over there." Connor was speaking with a cracked voice when he suddenly and unexpectedly blurted out right after the convenience shop on Oak Street. "He is injured, and he is not aware. You must assist him, and you must locate him as soon as possible. He is in need of his medication since he has just been given a new heart. Sir, you need to take it easy. What is your name?" Arthur Pendleton is the moniker that he goes by. While immediately reading from the card, Connor yelled into the phone, shouting at the top of his lungs. "He underwent a transplant! The medications he needs are located in his left pocket. Please get away now, I beg you." He did not wait for an answer to be given. He seized hold of his keys and flung the phone to the ground with such force that it seemed as if he had been burnt by it. He felt compelled to return, but he was unsure as to why. He was compelled to witness it. He fled his flat in a hurry and made his way back to Oak Street, not as a robber, but as a desperate, fearful ghost who was yearning for an opportunity to haunt a narrative that was different from his own. As he made his way around the corner, he saw that the street was already being illuminated by the flashing red and blue lights, which were casting an anxious glow over everything. With extreme care, the paramedics were assisting Arthur Pendleton in getting into an ambulance. A little pill container made of plastic was being held in the hand of one of them. Connor remained hidden in the shadows as he observed, with tears that he was unaware he had flowing down his cheeks. He did not move until the ambulance drove away, and the only sound it made was the blinking of its lights. After that, he went for a stroll. Not at home, but rather in the other direction. He continued walking till he came upon a police station that had windows that were brightly lit and intimidating in appearance. He remained outdoors for a considerable amount of time, and he held the laminated card securely in his palm the whole time. He was doing more than just returning a wallet. He was in the process of surrendering himself to the authorities. Connor had never before in his life made the decision to confront the repercussions of his actions, but he had come to the conclusion that some debts are so significant that it would be futile to try to avoid them.